Hello, I'm Andrew Nunn. I'm a carpenter and Clas Ohlson has chosen me to be one of their Clas Acts. Today I'm going to show you how to make a bedside table out of a vintage apple box and an old floorboard. I'm going to put a shelf in my unit, I've decided, and to do that I shall first measure roughly halfway down. I've decided to put one there. I'm making the shelf from the floorboard and as you can see I've just cut them straight off from the edge of the floorboard. I'm going to use the nice smooth edge, not the cut edge, which is already there for me. That way it doesn't matter too much how rough your cut is down the other edge. So taking the first batten, I'll have to mark out its position, and I need to do that using a square from the original marks I've made halfway. I shall draw the line there, and that'll be at the top of the batten, so I know that that's where the shelf will be resting on top of this part. And having done one side, it's likewise on the other. You have to be careful at this point that you mark it so you know that they're both the same side of the line, otherwise you'll have a crooked shelf. I have cut them at a slight angle so that when the shelf is on top, you don't see the batten particularly obviously. It keeps it out of sight a bit. So for the first batten, we have to lay the apple box on its side. Take my two screws, and double check it's underneath the line. And we turn it over to the other side. And always check the second screw just to make sure that it's following the line and you haven't moved it. Right, so we've fixed our battens, and that all we need to do now is to put in the shelf, which I've cut to fit earlier. As you can see, it is just a piece of floorboard. Picked it up from a flea market actually at the weekend, along with the apple box. It was, yeah, nice deal actually. I've cut this. It is quite a nice fit. And if you like, you can find it, or if you can lucky enough to find a wider piece, you can obviously make the battens to fit whatever piece you do have. For this design, I thought I'd add some wheels to it, which gives it extra mobility around the room. You can easily put it where you like. Shop ready. I'll have to turn this over, of course, and we're just going to use some nice, simple swivelly. Need 4 screws each. And we'll have one on each corner. So one thing though is that as you can see, the top pieces are quite thin and we're going to have to screw through that. So because they're old and a bit brittle perhaps, it's best to drill holes first for the screws, because what we want to do is screw right through to the piece of timber underneath. And if we don't make any holes in it, it will actually quite likely split these wood, and we don't want to do that. And just a little bit, you don't want to go too deep, obviously, otherwise the screw won't hold. So you're just going just slightly through the top of the plank. And if you're happy with that one being secure, we'll do the same with the others. Make sure that nothing comes through. Make sure they feel sturdy and ready. So that's our 4 wheels on, and we're ready to see how we got on. You could paint it, varnish it. Personally, I wouldn't varnish it or paint it, because it's got some rather nice writing on the side, which has that authentic vintage look to it. Also, you don't need to have it on wheels. If you prefer, you could have no wheels and perhaps put it on the wall instead, with, well, not 1 shelf, but 2 shelves, even 3 shelves perhaps. However you like. So I think that's rather good. And that's how you make a bedside table from some old wood.